All right, real estate. Let's talk about real estate. Everybody want to be like real estate market going to crash, yada yada yada. There are definitely bubbles. With everything, there's bubbles. Like there was even with the cryptocurrency space, there have been a
It
lot
was
of
a
things like
bubble.
the ICO raves, the crypto kitty rave. I mean, I don't want to say NFT is a bubble because I can definitely see
I
the
actually
use
think it's a
case
bubble
for.
though.
Hold on, I think let me clarify. I think there's a use case for non-fungible tokens in general, but I think NFT art specifically is definitely giving me bubble vibes. Like a red pixel sold for close to $900,000
Let
this
me
past week. A
let me
red
give you
pixel. I'm
my
literally
theory.
talking. I'm
Let me
talking. I'm talking just a red pixel. So
yeah,
all I'm saying is, hold on, before, but I don't want us to go. I don't want us to go into NFT. Let's not do that. Let's talk about real
yeah.
estate. All I'm saying is that, in my opinion, I definitely think like people need to understand with everything, there are bubble markets. So I say that to say, like, when you bring up the reference of like New York real estate market about to explode or implode, California, I would agree with you. Though those are very highly inflated bubble markets within the real estate space. But to say in general, the entire real estate market is a bubble market
Yeah.
about to explode, I'm like, you're in for a rude awakening because real estate is really here to stay. But anyways, go ahead, Joe. What you trying to say, bro?
I have a theory, right, on this NFT things. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically if you follow arts, any art market, and like if a painter, like one of these guys, Basquiat, or like there's a painting, right?
Yeah.
What they do to increase the value is like this insiders basically pump money into it. And that's what I think they do with this bleep thing. Or this guy, Jack,
People.
yeah, Beeple, or this guy, or what's his name? Twitter CEO, Jack.
Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, I think
Jack
like it's
Dorsey.
just this insiders and guys with money just pumping money to like get people like genned up for, you get what I'm saying? Or like them Logan Pauls or like
Yeah.
the influencer, like just pumping money into it to get
Yeah.
people riled up and stuff like. Because there's no reason why you should sell a red pixel for, you get what I'm saying?
It was
I get
speaking
that.
to him, bro. Like it was speaking to him.
No, but let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about real estate. Why I think real estate. I think real estate is single-handedly. Cryptocurrency will definitely overtake in the sense that I think cryptocurrency now, in my opinion, is the best way for us millennials or Gen Zs to grow wealth. But I think next would definitely be real estate. I think real estate is one of the because of when you look at the traditional. Now, granted, I know the finance system. There is a space in cryptocurrency that wants to address that and revitalize that. But the finance
Mhm.
system as is, I feel like it's not going to just go anywhere anytime soon. Like we talk about old money here, people with old money who doesn't
Yeah,
want that to just disappear. And when it boils down to it, let's get away from the digital aspect of things in the digital world. Because when it comes to the real world, like real assets are valuable. And I think that crypto real estate is one of the best ways to grow wealth. I've grown a significant portion of my net worth just buying and holding real estate and just looking at equity grow in real estate from
yeah,
either people paying off my equity, leveraging that, and also just pure property appreciation. And different ways to play it. There is the flip to grow equity. So BRRRR, that's the buy, rehab,
yeah,
rent, refinance, repeat.
yeah.
There is the buy to hold where you buy. There's there is
House hacking.
cash flowing, house hacking, pad splitting. And I love the perks that comes with real estate. I could go now and pull out equity from my properties for 1031 exchange. I can granted I have to use a 1031 exchange to buy another primary residence, but I can technically do that. I can grow equity in a majority of my properties. I can either pull out the equity via selling or refinancing, use that equity to purchase a new primary residence for me, and that's going to be using just money I've grown from other rental properties, which is other people paying it down and property appreciation. So I've gotten the whole property without spending any of my personal dollars. I've talked about this on my Twitter, how to get or leverage equity to buy your property cash without spending your personal dollars. I can also let's talk about even the tax benefits. We can talk about when I will rental properties, that depreciation, it's crazy. Like I could make
Yeah.
profit. This is the thing. And this is the thing. It doesn't affect depreciation does not affect your okay. Let me tell you something about real estate people don't realize. If I have a business on my Schedule E, if I have a loss, like I'm making a loss, that affects my adjusted gross. That affects if I'm making a loss, that affects my adjusted gross income for sure. Like when what underwriters, like if I want to get qualified either for a business loan or for even for a new property. If I'm doing another business that I'm doing, let's say I'm doing shipping and I'm having a loss, that would reduce my chances of getting qualified because it's like it affects my overall income. When it determines my overall income available for my debt to income ratio, that affects it. With depreciation, rental property depreciation, and it just happened recently with the new property I'm buying. Obviously, you disclose your rental property depreciation in Schedule E. It's a loss because you're claiming depreciation on the property. But when it goes to the underwriters for a new property and they see that is depreciation, because depreciation is a separate item under the Schedule E, they don't count it. So basically, that means to say, I'm claiming a loss, which helps my taxes and makes me get way more taxes back from the government, but it doesn't affect me in reality to get qualified for a new loan, whether it's for a rental property or another business, because when the underwriters, compared to other losses, the underwriters looked at as not actual. So it's not a physical loss, not an actual loss, because the way it works is it's a loss you claim for tax purposes, but it's not a loss that it affects my money. So for instance, if I make $20,000 profit for the year 2020, but I'm claiming $30,000 depreciation for all my rental properties, that would put me at a net loss of 30 minus 12, which is a net loss of $18,000. And that is huge in terms of how much tax back I can get. But when it goes back to the underwriters, if you want to get approved for a new loan for a rental property, they will not look at 2020 as a net loss of $18,000. They'll look at it as a profit of $12,000 I made on my rental properties because they're not going to count depreciation.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Y'all see that?
Yeah, that's smart.
crazy.
That is what rich people have been doing for a minute in terms of getting crazy tax benefits, but not suffering the repercussions of those claiming losses compared to other businesses. And I tell people all the time, like, yo, when you really dive into real estate and see just the beauty of it and how you can leverage the equity and how it plays to your favor, bro, it's insane.
Yeah, that's amazing. And there's so much to go into. Like, we need to talk on like a different, you get what I'm saying? Like, just privately, you tell us some stuff. But like, you see all these guys on social media, right? Talking about, my problem is the barrier to entry. You get what I'm saying? And all these guys marketing on social media, you don't need credit, do this, no down. You get what I'm trying? You know all those things I'm talking about, right? Like, how feasible is that? Because I always look at it like, yo, anything that seems that easy is like a fraud to me. Like,
so,
you get what I'm saying?
With rates being historically low in 2020, probably you're seeing a lot of people come out is because there's been a lot of FHA now. With an FHA loan and interest rates being so low, I think you only need $600. $600. That's $600. My bad. 600 credit score.
So scared.
600 credit score to even like 600 credit score to even like get like approved for certain FHA loans. Of course, FHA has more. And also FHA I think their DTI, debt to income ratio, is 48% now. So meaning that provided that you have your debt is not more than, we can go and I talk about debt to income ratio on my Patreon, but long story simply put, provided that your recurring debt monthly is not more than 48% of your income, you're even likely to get approved. And that's crazy. That, like, you know, when you think about that, that's crazy. That's to say you can have debt. So, like, you know, according, it's not still as lax. 48% DTI ratio. That's
48%.
Provided that your debt is not more than 48%. Yeah, so there's called front end and back end DTI ratios. You can Google them. But I think I'm mixing them up now because it's been a while since I've consulted on this. But the back end, I think, is one that it's all encompassing. That's say housing related versus also non-housing related. So the back end, which is everything, is 48. Yeah, that's the number. So I think for conventional is more like 32, 35, if I remember correctly. It's in the 30s range, and FHA is in the 40s range. So yeah, I mean, dude, that's insane. And also, there are different programs. There's first-time home buyer programs. I know Chicago has one, and I was consulting with the Patreon, basically where, provided you live in that primary residence for at least 5 years, zero down. Zero down. He bought a duplex that way, zero down payment. So this was something that was typically reserved for veterans, because VA loans are 0% down. But now the different cities are coming up with different programs, historically low rates where you have zero down. So you see people like someone in Chicago saying, oh, you don't need any money. They're probably referring to some of those first-time home buyer programs.
Yeah.
And of course, the Georgia has one where if you're in a rural area and they have what they consider rural areas. It's trust me, man, it's not near Atlanta. It's pretty far. But rural areas, you can get with the USDA, Department of Agriculture, you can get zero down. The other first-time home buyer programs, I've forgotten what they called them. Oh, shoot, I forgot. There's one again here in Georgia. Let me see if I can look it up. That is also zero down, right? So, like when you consider all that is said and done, there is a lot of things that are coming up that is supposed to help you, like get some of these properties without much down payment at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a quick question actually, because this is something I've been focusing on, right? So let's say I get my first property. I do it with my FHA loan. I've lived there for 1 year. Now it's like, yes, I'm about to move to somewhere else. How do I, at this point, it's my primary residence, but I'm now leaving to get another property. How do I tell the society, basically? Because, you need to keep documentation. How do I tell the society that this is now a rental property so I can now take my deductions on, depreciation, blah, blah, blah? Because I don't know, I don't personally know, but if it's my primary residence, I don't think I can claim that depreciation, right?
So great question. If you're house hacking, you can, but consult. I'm not a CPA, so let me just say that. Consult with your CPA and get details. All I would say is, if you're house hacking, you need to obviously report the income that you're making from house hacking. So house hacking means it's your primary residence. You're living, let's say, in the master's bedroom, and you're renting out other rooms. You need to report the income you're making from house hacking to show that you're making rental income. So that's the first thing to establish, that even with your primary residence, you're making rental income. That's okay. But then you cannot claim depreciation on the entire property, because the entire property is not a rental property. But you consult with a CPA to get the percentage of your property that you can consider a rental property, and then you multiply that by the amount that you would have, the total depreciation amount. And so you get a percentage of the total depreciation amount that you can claim as rental property depreciation. And best part about that is when you do upgrades to your primary residence, like add a fence to your backyard, which is something I did for my primary residence, you can claim a portion of that as rental property expenses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's crazy. So for someone that wants to get into real estate, right? We've talked about the strategies a little bit, and we've talked about flipping, house hacking, the BRRRR method and stuff like that. What would you, not advice, but what do you think is what's the route? Because some guys are always focused on
Airbnb.
Some guys are always focused on
Airbnb, man.
Increase your portfolio quickly.
Nah. See, this is the thing. I'm a very long-term type of guy. So that again, everybody, even my trading strategy, people even knows my trading strategy, I always tell people all the time, focus on your long-term growth. Because every time all the time, if it knows, there's a way I structure my portfolio, where my short-term portfolio is a very small percentage of my overall portfolio, because I'm focused on long-term investing. And I always say my short-term portfolio's goal is to always fund my long-term portfolio. So I treat the same with real estate. I'm a very long-term guy. I believe in scaling, but scale wisely so that you're not over leveraged. A lot of the reason why people blow up and they lose a lot of money or get burned out of the real estate game quickly is because they scale too quickly and they were too over leveraged. I want to scale in the sense that I'm growing my real estate portfolio. I'm also growing my loans because I'm taking loans to buy these rental properties. And so obviously I know I'm growing my debt, but obviously these properties are worth more than the loans I'm collecting. So I'm net positive. But at the same time, I don't want to be too over leveraged with the loans I'm collecting compared to my other sources of income. And so you want to make sure that you're scaling effectively and scaling wisely. But at the same time, I want to also make sure I'm very picky with my picks. I'm very super picky. I don't believe in just buying a property because I want to add more doors or pump my chest up. I got 1,000 doors. Fuck that.
That's mostly what it is out here, right?
Nah, I'm not about that. Because see, and I said this on Twitter. I told Ifed this. I know somebody, I'm not going to say his name on YouTube. He's got 120 doors. One time he was and I was so surprised, he was transferring his portfolio. And I saw with those 120 doors, he's making $17,000 a month cash flow. So that's it. When all expenses are done. No, but but the thing is, so 16,000 divided by 120. So he's cash flowing $133 per door. And I've come to realize in the long-term rental game, that is pretty normal. That's normal. You can see people with 200 doors and they're cash flowing 40 grand a month. And so that's $200 per door, right? And I've seen that's pretty normal. And I'm not to brag, but I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty good because it's like I have 3 properties now, right? Let's just say 2, because they're the one I own with my brothers. But I have 2 properties that I own individually in Charlotte, right? So let's just ignore the third that I really cash flow. And with my 2 properties, so granted, one I rent the entire house, the other one I rent per bedrooms. But with those 2 properties alone, so quote unquote 2 doors, I am cash flowing on average at least $8,000 a month.
Wow.
So let's just say $4,000 per property, Airbnb. Wow. And so my thing is
both is Airbnb or
both of them is Airbnb, yeah. So my thing is, okay, if I'm very picky with my picks as I am, what it boils down to is not the pride of how many doors, it's how much you're making. Fact. And if I'm making more bread, I'm straight. I'm good.
Yeah, I got 2 questions for you. 2 questions. So the first question, the second question is the first question I had like earlier. Well, I'll get to that last, right? Actually, 3 questions. I have one final question. All right, so
go ahead, bro. You guys, we go. Let's wrap it up in 10 minutes because we go over time.
These are quick questions.
All right, go ahead.
You said you're picky when it comes to choosing your property, but like many people don't have that that opportunity or that choice, right? Like for instance, I'm trying to get my first property, right? And they gave me so I just graduated from college, right? And they're like, okay, based on your work history, we're giving you this cap amount. And I'm like, okay, wow. Now I'm looking.
How much they give you a cap amount? Tell me some numbers. Tell me something. How much they give you a cap amount? Give me numbers. 200K is how much they capped you at. Okay.
So I'm like, wow, I really can't find anything in Georgia or the Atlanta, metro Atlanta area for 200.
You can. I told you what I'm buying, right?
Yeah.
The one I sent you is 3 bedrooms. It's 189 3 bedrooms. I sent you that.
Oh, you did send me that. That's true. Yeah.
See, there we go. So that's an example. You gotta play according to your cut. And that's a nice one to start with. That's a nice first property. My advice for people getting in is and also this is the thing, Ife, once you start making your income as your full-time and you show your full-time income, they would easily pre-approve you for more. That's something to keep in mind. So once you have that full-time offer, you get so Ife right now he's graduated. He's got like how many months internship, Ife, was it?
It's 4 months. And then when I get the full-time, because I know I'm going to get full-time, that'll start in January.
Okay, the point is once you get that full-time, you get pre-approved for more because you just want to see that you have a fixed income, and that's how they do your DTI ratio. That said, obviously, my recommendation is you buy your first property as a primary residence. So buying as a rental versus primary. As a rental, you have to do at least 20-25% down payment. You'd be lucky if you get away with 15%. As a primary residence or FHA loans, we spoke about, you can get as low as 3% down payments. So you can do less down payment when you buy as a primary. And house hack the hell out of that. House hack, rent per bedrooms. When I first started house hacking, my very first property, it was a 5 bedrooms. I got it for $235,000. It was a 5 bedrooms. I took the master's bedroom. I went big. My goal was I'm not one of these people that are like, no. I'm like, how can I get the most rooms or doors? When I say doors, now I'm talking about rooms for the cheapest price. That is still a good appreciating market. And when I say I'm picky about the market. So these are the markets, in my opinion, that are the best real estate markets now in the country. Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, and there's one that's come to mind, but it's skipping my mind. When I remember, I'll let you know. Those are examples of some markets that if I want to buy, so like the next property I want to buy, the multifamily 3-4 years from now, is in Dallas, Texas. So like the point I'm trying to make is like I'm very picky about where I go because I want to capture appreciation. But again, house hack, I was making close to $800 to $1,000 per private bedroom when I was house hacking.
Wow.
So yeah, and I even go on my Twitter, I posted again like 2 people who I'm mentoring. They're doing the exact same thing, and I showed how much they made off each private bedroom. One made 950, the other made 980, the other one made 1K, the other one made 835. So this thing happens. I have a strategy for this. And imagine if you have a 5 bedrooms, you're renting again. There's the uncomfort where you have to realize that okay, you might want your private space, but at the same time you're making $4,000 of the other 4 bedrooms you're renting.
Yeah.
So before I know it, within a year, I had enough money to go buy another property as a rental, right? And so you scale effectively. That's my recommendation. And Airbnb
Is
with the right strategy, you can make it consistent and you can make bread. So if I answer your question, I'll say play according to your cut. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Yo, all I'm gonna say is to everybody listening, yo, OC's giving you some game right here. You feel me?
Free gems.
If you want the real sauce, you get what I'm saying. You gotta subscribe to that Patreon. Get right. You get what I'm saying. We're gonna put the link to the link in the description and all that stuff. Get on the Patreon. He's always talking about this stuff, Bitcoin, real estate. Yes, sir.
So my second question now, right? So
yeah, this gotta be the last question, bro, because we're coming up for 15 minutes.
There's a third
We hit
question,
the 15-minute mark.
It's just a quick answer. So the
All right,
second
bro.
question
So
is,
yeah, let's roll with your 2 questions. Let's call it a day, bro.
we live in a capitalist society, but we have, social issues. So people believe that people having more than one house, more than one property is bad for the economy, bad for social welfare. What do you say to those people?
Yeah. I sympathize with that because in my heart of hearts, I believe that I am a socialist. I believe that everyone deserves certain fundamental. It's crazy. People are always surprised when I say that, and I always tell people time. In my heart of hearts, I believe that I believe everyone deserves very fundamental rights, which includes housing, food, and education. I believe nobody should be homeless. So I can sympathize with that. It's definitely an inefficient system, but this might also sound very insensitive, but what I'll say to that is for a small player like me, I'm not no George Soros or Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett who runs the system. For a small player like me, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Big fact, bro.
Because I'm in a capitalist, so I can sit down and be like, I don't want to participate and then not provide. By the end of the day, I understand this is the system that I'm in. So I will play the game.
Okay.
But do I believe that everyone deserves fundamental human rights like feeding, housing, and clothing? Yeah, I do. Education, I do. Yeah. So in that sense, I do sympathize with that. But I even believe the idea that you can't even own rental properties in the socialist system, I don't think that's proper. But I think there certainly can be certain measures to make sure that housing remains affordable. So definitely, yeah. Like for instance, imagine if Section 8 was more efficient. Like imagine a situation where Section 8, where the government pays for a portion, but it's more efficient. And there's also the insurance, sort of similar to Airbnb, where if a tenant leaves and they wreck your property, the government will cover the cost to fix it. Like, anyways, that's a whole separate episode. But I can sympathize with that. Yeah, that's what I'll say to that.
And then my final question for you is, okay, this is not financial advice. Disclaimer, we are not giving financial advice, right?
Yeah.
Let's say new time investor, he has $5,000. Cryptocurrency or real estate? Which one are you choosing?
Oh,
real estate.
This is what I would do. I would buy, it's $5,000. First of all, unless you're doing the first time home buyer program, I'll say when you have $5,000, you may not have enough really to do anything. Because you could. Hold on, let's say 5,000 divided by 0.3. So I'm going to say 5,000 divided by 0.0305 first. So that's 100,000. So yeah, with 5,000 you can't do much because we're doing if we do 3% down payment, that's $167,000. But if you're getting closing costs and everything, so I'll say really 5,000 can afford you a $120,000 home at best. Yeah, and the remaining $1,400 closing costs. But how good of a home can you find that is worth $120,000? So depending on where you are. So I'll say $5,000 is not enough. So definitely, you probably just want to invest that and grow your equity. Let's do a more realistic number, right? Let's do something more like $20,000, which is something that you see a lot more people. This is not financial advice, but if I had 20K and I'm doing something similar because I'm about to close on a home, but I already have the cash handy. But if I had 20K but I'm already invested in crypto, so I don't necessarily need to pick one over the other. I'm just going to use the money to put towards a down payment. But if that was the only money I had never invested in crypto, and I wanted to get exposure to both. It's not financial advice, but the smartest thing to do would be to get Bitcoin, Ether, whatever you want to get, or Maker DAO. The whole point of these are all lending, and send your cryptocurrency to BlockFi, Maker DAO, all these lending platforms, and you leverage them to collect US dollars. It's as simple as that. So I have my Bitcoin. I have the $20,000 worth in Bitcoin. I've given to BlockFi. It's recorded and understood that I have $20,000 worth of Bitcoin BlockFi. The interest rate would be on the $20,000 I get would be 6%. I use that to pay my down payment and start a rental property. I house hack. Imagine if I get so $20,000 you can get easily. Now we're talking more better numbers. A primary residence, you get like a $250,000, $300,000 home, because with $300,000 home, the down payment will be, provided you approve, the $300,000 home, if you're doing only 3% down payment would be, I believe, $9,000. And then you have like maybe, you can even do, so you can even do more than, you can do even like a 5% down. Yeah, so 5% down on a $300,000 home is 15 grand, and then you have $5,000 for closing costs, so $20,000. You have a $300,000 home. In Atlanta, a $300,000 home could easily get you 4 or 5 bedrooms. You have a 4 or 5 bedrooms. You rent the masters. You have occupied the master's bedroom. You rent the other 4 bedrooms. You house hack kids. You get $3,000 cash flow potentially, and you can pay off your loan to BlockFi within the first 8-9 months. Once you pay that off, the remaining money you keep cash flowing to pay down equity and pay your mortgage, and so you live mortgage free. And then once you pay off your loan from BlockFi, you can have your Bitcoin back, and you can start dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies you want. That way, you've gotten your exposure to Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin appreciated throughout the year, and you didn't miss out on that. And you also have the rental property that you got because you leveraged your Bitcoin to collect a loan from a lending platform like BlockFi. Not financial advice, do due diligence, but boom, that's what I would do.
Free gems.
Yo, that's
game.
free game right there, bro. That's fire. That's fire, man. Good convo, guys. All right, man. Yeah, we need a part 2 for individual topics.
Yeah. No, this is good.
This is fire, man.
I like this. This is a lot of information. I like this.
Yeah, before we go, I have an announcement. Me and Ife just started a new brand. For all our wine lovers, everybody that started drinking wine because of COVID, the new guys, you feel me? We started MelotteWines.com. We sell wine accessories. We know like lots of guys who make wrong choices this year, drink from the wrong glass. You get what I'm saying? But don't say we didn't tell you. You feel me? Go to MelotteWines.com.
Spell it out for people.
MELOTTE wines.com, and just check what we have.
Say one more time, bro.
MelotteWines.com. MelotteWines.com. We'll put it in the description. You feel me? So
yes, sir.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, for everybody.
All right, that's it. This was a great convo, real estate and crypto. Let's not call it real estate versus crypto. Let's say real estate and crypto. Because you know what? We talked about crypto first, so let's say crypto and real estate.
And real estate, yeah.
And we love it. And I love the last question, Ife, because you asked the question of how we can put it together, and that's the way you can do both and leverage it together. With that, signing out. Peace, y'all.
Yeah. See y'all next week,
everybody.